The third series of the Sky One drama sees James Nesbitt's Harry Clayton, who still has his mystical bracelet that allows him to control luck, and who wouldn't want to own that. Rupert plays Samuel Blake, Clayton's new nemesis, who very much wants Harry's ancient bracelet for his own collection. In the first episode, the two met in Hong Kong, where Harry's gone to try to find out the origin of the talisman's mystical powers. With typical evil, Samuel tried to shoot Harry in order to get what he wants. Blake is not a nice man. A drug dealer with connections with the Chinese triad crime gangs as well as the authorities, which makes him doubly dangerous. He's also immune to pain. Who needs a nemesis like that? In this week's third episode, the action is back in London and Rupert has loved making the show. Filming in Hong Kong was fantastic as it was somewhere I've always wanted to go, he says. Plus I really enjoyed working with James Nesbitt. We have the same agent. He creates such a great atmosphere on set for the cast and crew that it's always a pleasure to go into work every day. In Hong Kong, there was a scene where I was on a speedboat bringing a machine gun at people. And the stunts were fantastic. Blake is constantly blowing people up, beating them up or shooting people. It's perfect. Apart from getting to play an action hero, one of the reasons Rupert enjoyed playing the villainous Blake was that it took him out of his comfort zone of largely playing very decent coves. He's been previously cast as Outstanding Professionals, a police officer in Weedishable, a barrister in both Silk and North Square, a spy in Spooks. He's also played his fair share of incredibly posh people such as Louis XIV at the National Theatre, a courtier at the same King's Court in A Little Chaos, and dashing adventure Major General Sir Richard Hannay in the 2008 adaptation of The 39 Steps. Actors can get pigeonholed, but playing professionals like policemen, doctors or lawyers is the bread and butter of most actors' careers as it's the world where most dramas seem to happen, he says. However, the role he's been playing for the past 4 years is worlds apart from a policeman or a spy. I've been working abroad and wearing a rubber mask for years. He laughs as he talks about his role as Mr. Quinlan in American vampire horror TV series The Strain, in which he is almost completely unrecognizable. Looking back at your face in the mirror and having one looking back at you that you don't recognize at all is liberating and has made me a better actor, Rupert explains. I'd never had to wear prosthetics before and, initially, working with a new face worried me. I'd go to the monitor and check how I look with certain expressions. But it ended up being my favorite thing. I love the way he looks, and you don't get more of a change in roles than a half-breed vampire who is 1,000 years old. Even as a creature with a millennium on the clock, Rupert had to stay fit. Already in good shape, he had a trainer for his role in The Strain and I got into the swing of it and kind of kept it going. When I lived in London, I used to go to Tooting Bec Lido. I used to go wild swimming and love being in the water. Now I live in the countryside with actress wife Thurvilla Kerwin and children Florence and Peter. I bomb around the lanes on a bike instead after knackering my knee when I was training for a charity football match. Rupert recently finished filming the movie Vida and Virginia, starring Gemma Arterton and Elizabeth Debicki as lovers Vida Sackville-West and Virginia Woolf. Rupert plays Vida's husband Sir Nigel Nicholson. It's a return to the Bloomsbury set for the actor who played Duncan Grant, the painter who had a relationship with Virginia's sister Vanessa, in the BBC Two drama Life in Squares. That was such an underrated series, which was a shame. The 47-year-old was associated with a Second World War project about the Pegasus Bridge mission, but the money couldn't be raised. It needed more episodes to let the characters breathe a bit more. Rupert reflects. I was an Air Force pilot in Charlotte Gray years ago. Would he fancy playing another war hero? Well, I've dabbled in war films. I fancy a First World War LM, but I'm getting a bit old for those types of parts. Those boys were so young. He's also got a bit of a yearning to do lighter roles. I've just been in Canada making a sweet rom-com about a couple who fall in love in a hotel in the middle of nowhere, and I've got a taste for doing comedy now. It's not surprising, though, as he made some of his first TV appearances in great comedy programs. I was in an episode of Absolutely Fabulous as a student taught to roll a joint by Safi. It was one of their spoofs of a BBC Charles Dickens drama, and I was lucky enough to appear with Kathy Burke in it, and that led on to an appearance in French and Saunders. And he doesn't need jewelry to make it happen. Stanley's Lucky Man, Friday, 9 p.m, Sky One. It was very, very funny. Sounds like Mr. Penry Jones is already a lucky man.